The New Orleans Saints had to make do with 5 selections in this year's draft, and right out of the gate, they came away with a day 1 starter and center Eric McCoy out of Texas A&M, who some had as their number 1 center in the draft class. Linebacker Caden Ellis out of Idaho has the versatility to play inside or outside backer and was a consistent performer for the Vandals. Saquon Hampton was able to build momentum after an excellent pro day and parlayed that into a draft pick with New Orleans. What I liked most about the Saints draft was combo safety Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Now, coming into the draft, I said that the Saints needed to get better in the slot, and adding a player like Gardner-Johnson, who can not only serve in the traditional safety role, but can also drop down and cover in the slot. So when you look at his coverage and ball skills, to me, that makes him an excellent prospect coming from that Gators program. And I love the talent and fit of Alize Mack from Notre Dame. The Saints haven't had a true threat at the position since Jimmy Graham left. Now with Jared Cook in the fold and a prospect like Mack, who's essentially a bigger wide receiver serving as your tight end too, it gives the Saints 2 matchup problems on the inside. In the undrafted free agent department is where I believe the Saints really cleaned up this year. Lil Jordan Humphrey from Texas plays that inside receiver role extremely well. He's got the ability to be moved around the formation and has good situational and spatial awareness to keep the chains moving. Deontay Harris was one of my favorite prospects in the class. He was my number 1 punt returner in the entire draft class, and it may not have been close. He's a wide receiver version of Darren Sproles, just giving head coach Sean Payton yet another dynamic offensive weapon to utilize. I thought Kenny Bigelow's ball get off and explosiveness would be more than enough to see him drafted in the middle rounds. The Saints get a guy who can serve as a replacement in what they had in Tyler Davidson, who left via free agency. Jordan Wyatt of SMU has very good awareness and ball skills. I thought his week down at the Shrine game was solid, showing the ability to match up one-on-one against bigger wide receivers. Emmanuel Butler was on the NFL radar 3 years ago at Northern Arizona. This upcoming season will be his 2nd full year removed from an injury that wiped out his entire 2017 campaign, which saw him start the season on the Senior Bowl watch list. Butler is a bigger receiver who can stretch the field and play above the rim. Devine Ozigbo of Nebraska has a great chance to compete for a significant role within the Saints run game. He was the lead dog this year for the Cornhuskers backfield and didn't disappoint, going over 1,000 yards and earning a trip to the Shrine game as a result. Now, I was at that Temple Villanova game to begin the season and watched Ethan Greenwich completely dominate in the running game en route to an upset victory for the Wildcats. He also continued to hold his own against top competition down at the Shrine game as well. Carl Granderson of Wyoming seems to always find himself around the play, whether that's directly or indirectly. There's something to be said for a defender who's consistently making a play. I gave the Saints an A for their draft. They landed 3 premier players out of the 5 draft selections while picking up a bevy of undrafted rookie free agents who are supremely talented that have a great chance to not only make the roster, but contribute as well, which strengthens their draft class as a whole.